Good evening to all pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world. Welcome to another live Pro Wrestling Talk stream brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, I wanted to get on here for a short live stream focused on the 15th Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. So, we are down to the final day of block matches, which will be on November 28th. That's in 2 days. Black Friday, to be specific. So, I wanted to go over the current standings and then go over the key scenarios for each of the teams that are still in the hunt for a playoff spot. It's definitely coming down to the wire, and it's been interesting. It's been really interesting, but so far only 2 teams have secured playoff spots, but there's still a handful of teams that still have a chance to lock in a playoff spot. So, without further ado, let's dive in. So, we're going to go over the standings, and then we're going to go over scenarios. Sound good? Alrighty. Blood Money, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Okay. Let's get to it. So, as usual, we'll start with the Red Goddesses block. Y'all ready? Let's dive in. Okay. Red Goddesses block. Like I said, another day of matches took place earlier today. So, let's see what the standings are right now. Okay. So, we know sitting at the bottom, 0 points on an 0-6 record. That's Reckless Fantasy. That's Waka Tsukiyama and Rion. Losses to BMI 2000, Saripoi, Aquastella, Blue Flame, Dos Locas de Mexico, and T-Hearts. Their final match will be against Mi Vida Loca. So they still have an opportunity to play spoiler and at least get a victory on the board before this tournament ends. But they are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Let's see. Okay. So next up, 3 teams that have 6 points. 3 teams that have 6 points. They're Blue Flame, Mi Vida Loca, and T-Hearts. Blood Money, I'll get to that in a moment. Okay. Let's look at Blue Flame. That's Hina and Rana Yagami. Alright. They have completed all of their matches. 3 and 4. They finished 3 and 4. 6 points. Victories over T-Hearts, Mi Vida Loca, and Reckless Fantasy. But they finished with 4 losses to BMI 2000, Saripoi, Aquastella, and Dos Locas de Mexico. And unfortunately, they are mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. I was hoping they would do a little bit better, but at least they were able to get 3 wins. So at least they're not in a situation that Reckless Fantasy are in. Okay. Now, we got, let's see, Mi Vida Loca. Let's take a look at Mi Vida Loca. That's Bozilla and Akira Kuragane. They have a record of 3 and 3. So 3 and 3, 6 points. Victories over BMI 2000, Saripoi, Aquastella. but 3 losses to Blue Flame, Dos Locas de Mexico, and T-Hearts. They do have a match left. Their final match will be against Reckless Fantasy. Okay? Mi Vida Loca is still alive. And like I said, I'll get into the scenarios in a moment. All right, T-Hearts. That's Sari and Miku Kanai. 3-3, 6 points. Victories over Reckless Fantasy, Mi Vida Loca, and Dos Locas de Mexico. And they have losses to BMI 2000, Aquastella, and Blue Flame. Their final match will be against Sari Poi. Okay? And they are still alive. Okay? We have 2 teams that have 7 points apiece. They are Aquastella and Dos Locas de Mexico. Let's take a look at Aquastella, who have actually completed all of their matches. And they finish 3-3-1. Aquastella, that's Yuna Mizumori and Mei Seira. So their 3 victories were over Blue Flame, Reckless Fantasy, and T-Hearts. Their 3 losses were to Mi Vida Loca, Sari Poi, and BMI 2000. And their 1 draw was to Dos Locas de Mexico. Now, it's a little bit complicated, but they still have a chance to make the playoffs. But they're going to need a lot of help, and I'll explain in a bit. All right, Dos Locas de Mexico, that's Tio Letgo and Osita. They too have 7 points, but right now they have a record of 3-2-1. They got victories over Blue Flame, Reckless Fantasy, and Mi Vida Loca. 2 losses to Sari Poi and T-Hearts, and the 1 draw with Aquastella. They do have 1 match left, and it's against BMI 2000. Okay? And they're still in it. Okay. And then we got 1 team right now sitting with a 4-2 record with 8 points. That's Sari Poi. That's Sariano and Natsupoi. 4 victories over Aquastella, Blue Flame, Reckless Fantasy, and Dos Locas de Mexico. Their 2 losses were to BMI 2000 and Mi Vida Loca. But they do have 1 match left, and it's against T-Hearts. And then sitting at the top right now with a score of 10 points on a 5-1 record, and that's the current Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, BMI 2000. That's Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. 5 victories over Sari Poi, Aquastella, Blue Flame, Reckless Fantasy, and T-Hearts. They have 1 loss to Mi Vida Loca, but they have 1 match left, and it's against Dos Locas de Mexico. Okay, so those are the standings right now for the Red Goddesses block. Now, let's take a look at scenarios. First off, the champs, BMI 2000, as Blood Money, I see you mentioned it, Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, have secured the number 1 seed of the Red Goddesses block. Now, even though they have 1 match left, regardless of whether they win or lose, they have secured the number 1 seed, because even if Sari Poi wins their match, BMI 2000 holds the tiebreaker over Sari Poi. And like I said, Sari Poi is the only team that can get 10 points, or the only other team that can get 10 points, but cannot break the tie. So by default, BMI 2000 has secured the number 1 seed, win, lose, or draw, of this final match. So they're good, which means they have an automatic bye to the semifinals in the playoffs. So our Red Goddesses block number 1 seed is secured. Congratulations to BMI 2000. Okay, now let's look at some other scenarios. Let's take a look at T-Hearts, Sari, Miku, Kanai. Right now they have 6 points. But if they can get a victory, if they can win their final match against Saripoi, then that will give them 8 points and would secure them a playoff spot, because they would own the tiebreaker over Saripoi. All right. That's pretty much all they need to do. Enigma, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So all T-Hearts have to do is defeat Saripoi, and they're in. So simple enough. Well, maybe not simple, but you know what I mean. That's all they got to do is win, and they're in. Because with the win, they'll have the tiebreaker over Saripoi. All right. So that's for T-Hearts. Now, let's take a look at Mi Vida Loca. That's Bozilla and Akira Kuragane. Now, this is where it gets complicated, because not only do they have to win their final match, but they're going to need some help. All right, let's take a look at it. So, in order for Mi Vida Loca to have a shot at the playoffs, they would need to win their final match over Reckless Fantasy. Okay? They would also need some help. They need T-Hearts to lose to Saripoi, and they need Dos Locos de Mexico to lose to BMI 2000. Because that would give Mi Vida Loca 8 points. They would also have the tiebreaker over Saripoi due to let's see. Yeah. So they would have the tiebreaker, and even though I'm sorry, they need T-Hearts to lose due to the fact that they would have the tiebreaker over Mi Vida Loca, which is why Mi Vida Loca needs T-Hearts to lose and stay at 6 points. So, with T-Hearts losing to Saripoi and Dos Locos de Mexico losing to BMI 2000, because remember, they've also beaten Mi Vida Loca. So that's why Mi Vida Loca needs T-Hearts and Dos Locos de Mexico to both lose their matches, but Mi Vida Loca has to beat Reckless Fantasy. Which seems like a simple task, but you never know. Reckless Fantasy could play spoiler and get that one victory that would spoil it for Mi Vida Loca. It's very possible. I know they haven't won a match yet, but this Friday could be the day Reckless Fantasy get their one victory in this tournament. So, we'll see. We'll see. So, yes, Mi Vida Loca has to win. They need T-Hearts to lose and Dos Locos de Mexico to lose in order to have a playoff shot. Okay. Now, let's look at Aqua Stella, Unamizumori and Mei Seira. Now, even though they have completed all of their matches, they still technically have a chance to make the playoffs, but they need a lot of help. And with this help, it's going to put them in position to have a chance to have one more match. Let me explain. Aqua Stella would need They would need Mi Vida Loca to lose to Reckless Fantasy. And they would need Dos Locas de Mexico to lose to BMI 2000. If all three of those happen, then that would put Dos Locas de Mexico and Aqua Stella at a dead tie. Because remember, they both have a draw against each other. The one draw in this tournament so far. So, Aqua Stella needs those three things to happen in order to force a tiebreaker with Dos Locos de Mexico, which would mean it would create a tiebreaker match. They would have to wrestle one more time, and then all they would have to do is beat Dos Locos de Mexico, and then they would have a playoff spot. So, let me repeat. Aqua Stella needs T-Hearts to lose to Saripoi. Mi Vida Loca to lose to Reckless Fantasy. And Dos Locas de Mexico to lose to BMI 2000 to force a tiebreaker match between Aqua Stella and Dos Locas de Mexico. And then all they got to do is win that tiebreaker match and they would advance. So, it's not over yet for Aqua Stella, even though that they've completed their matches. So, they're going to need to cheer the mess out of... they would need to cheer the mess out of Saripoi, Reckless Fantasy, and BMI 2000. So, yeah. It's crazy. But it's possible. It is possible. Okay. Dos Locas de Mexico, Tioletco, and Osita. All they have to do is beat BMI 2000. That's all they got to do. That will give them 9 points, and they would secure a playoff spot. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. Because even if Saripoi wins their match and gets 10 points, you know, Dos Locas de Mexico, when they get 9 points, they would still secure a playoff spot. So, that's pretty much all that has to happen. Dos Locas de Mexico, they win, and they're in. Okay. And then Saripoi. Simple enough for them. All they have to do is beat T-Hearts, and they're in. So, win and they're in. So, when it comes down to it, Dos Locas de Mexico, Saripoi, and T-Hearts, they have a simple scenario as far as winning their in. Mi Vida Loca and Aqua Stella have the two difficult scenarios, with Aqua Stella having the most difficult scenario, especially considering they can't wrestle another match unless those three things happen. So it's going to be interesting. And then looking at these final matchups, I mean, BMI 2000 versus Dos Locas de Mexico, that's going to be big. That's going to be really big. But like I said, BMI 2000, they've already secured the number 1 seed, so they don't have to really worry about much if they lost. But there are other teams that are dependent on BMI 2000 winning. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah. So, that's what the Red Goddesses block is looking like. Now, let's go to the... Oh, wait a minute. Before I finish that, the remaining matchups. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. So BMI 2000 versus Dos Locos de Mexico. That's a big match. Sari Poi versus T Hearts. That's a big match because pretty much the winner between those two pretty much get in. So that's big. That's a big one. Especially considering the rivalry between Natsupoi and Sari. I mean, it's a very fitting final block match. Reckless Fantasy versus Mi Vida Loca. They have an opportunity to play spoiler. They have yet to win a match, but this would be quite a way to make an impact if they can beat Mi Vida Loca and destroy their chances at a playoff spot. There's already been some tension with Bozilla and Akira Kuragane. Reckless Fantasy really has an opportunity to just break the spirit of Mi Vida Loca if they can beat Bozilla and Akira Kuragane. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, now let's go to the Blue Goddesses block. Okay, it's pretty interesting on this side as well. All right, let's go over the standings first. So we got one team that's sitting at 2 points on a 1-5 record. That's Bloody Girls School. That's Suzu Suzuki and Rina Yamashita. Their one victory was over the Mega Skyscrapers, but they have losses to O2 Line, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, NX Con, and 2 forfeit losses to Sakurara and Gorilla Trigger. Blood Money says, I want to see Bozilla and Akira Kuragane winning, even though they are a dysfunctional team. Here's hoping. I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice and would also kind of redeem some points with Akira Kuragane and Bozilla with their, chemistry. So, definitely very important. I agree. Okay. Unfortunately, Bloody Girls School is mathematically eliminated. And it's a bummer, too, because 2 of those matches, Suzu wasn't cleared to compete. And I think if she was cleared, she probably would have won one, if not both of those matches. Her and Rina Yamashita. It's unfortunate. You hate to see stuff like that happen because of injuries. You know what I mean? So, okay. We got one team that has a 2-4 record. Oh, and Bloody Girls School, they have one last match, and it's against the New Star Sisters. All right. 2-4, 4 points. That's O2 Line. That's Azumi Miyu Amasaki. So, 2 victories over Bloody Girls School and Reiwa Tokyo Towers, but 4 losses to the New Star Sisters, Mega Skyscrapers, NX Con, and Gorilla Trigger. And their final match is against Sakurara. Unfortunately for them, they are also mathematically eliminated. And like I said, I really hope this is like the last time they team together for a tournament, because O2 Line, while they're in the same faction, is a pretty trash tag team. I mean, I just got to keep it real. Okay. We have 3 teams that have 6 points each. They are Sakurara, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, and the New Star Sisters. Let's take a look at the Reiwa Tokyo Towers. That's Ami Sore, Lady C. 3 victories over Gorilla Trigger, NX Con, and Bloody Girls School, but 4 losses to Sakurara, Mega Skyscrapers, O2 Line, and New Star Sisters. They don't have any matches left, and unfortunately are stuck at 6 points, which is not enough. So therefore, Reiwa Tokyo Towers is as much as it pains me to say, are mathematically eliminated. All right, let's take a look at the new Star Sisters. That's Konami and Rina. Now, they have a 3-3 record. 6 points. They have victories over O2 Line, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, and Sakurara, but 3 losses to Gorilla Trigger, an X-Con, and the Mega Skyscrapers. Now, they do have 1 match left, and it's against the Bloody Girls School. And even though they can get 8 points, because of the fact that Gorilla Trigger, an X-Con, and the Mega Skyscrapers have victories over the new Star Sisters, they have no chance of securing a playoff spot, even if they were to win and get 8 points. So, unfortunately, the new Star Sisters are eliminated as well. So that's 4 teams right there that are eliminated. Okay. Sakurara. That's the current Stardom New Blood Tag Team Champions, Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. They are also 3-3 with 6 points. They got victories over Gorilla Trigger, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, and the forfeit over Bloody Girls School. And 3 losses to the New Star Sisters, Mega Skyscrapers, and an X-Con. And their final match is against O2 Line. And technically, they are still in it. As surprising as that sounds, they are still in it. Okay. We have 2 teams right now sitting at 8 points each. That's Gorilla Trigger and an X-Con. Hey, Ricardo, welcome to the stream. It's going pretty good. Just a little tired and sore from my workout. Currently watching AEW Dynamite right now with Fletcher and Okada starting it off on the broadcast. Oh, wow. Starting off with a bang. Continental Classic match. Nice. Dang, going right into it. That's what's up. Okay, let's take a look at Gorilla Trigger. That's Saya Ida B. Priestley. Now, they have completed all of their matches. So they finished 4-3 with victories over an X-Con, O2 Line, New Star Sisters, the forfeit over Bloody Girls School. 3 losses to Mega Skyscrapers, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, and Sakurara. Now, as crazy as it sounds, even though they've completed all their matches, they are still technically in it. But they're going to need some help. I'll explain in a bit. All right. An X-Con. That's Shuri and Saki Kashima. They are currently 4-2 with 8 points. Victories over the New Star Sisters, Bloody Girls School, O2 Line, and Sakurara. 2 losses to Gorilla Trigger and the Reiwa Tokyo Towers. They do have 1 match left, and it's a big one, against the Mega Skyscrapers. And of course, they are still in it. And then right now, sitting at the top, with a 5-1 record, 10 points total, Megan Bain, Hanako, the Mega Skyscrapers. 5-1 victories over Gorilla Trigger, Sakurara, Reiwa Tokyo Towers, O2 Line, and New Star Sisters. They won 5 in a row, and then they just suffered their first loss to the Bloody Girls School. And their last match will be against an X-Con. Ricardo says, the setup wrestling event was very enjoyable today on their YouTube channel with Kaya Toribami winning her first ever title outside of TJPW. Oh, is that the show where her and Miyu Yamashita won the tag titles? I think I heard about that. Was that same show? Okay. So let's talk about scenarios here with the Blue Goddesses block. So we know already that the Mega Skyscrapers have secured a playoff spot. They've secured a playoff spot. Ricardo says yes. Oh, okay. Nice, nice. That's what's up. Okay, Mega Skyscrapers have secured a playoff spot. But here's the deal. If they can win their last match against an ex-con, then they will secure the number 1 seed and will get a bye into the semifinals. So all they got to do is win, and they get that number 1 seed. As a matter of fact, a win or a draw. A win or a draw will get them the number 1 seed. So yeah, when you think about it, it's a win or a draw, and they'll get the number 1 seed. So simple enough for Mega Skyscrapers, although an ex-con's been doing great this tournament, so won't be easy to beat. And who knows, maybe this is where Saki Kashima gets revenge and her and Shuri end up beating the Mega Skyscrapers. Because remember, you know, Megan Bain, or not Megan Bain. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm getting my people mixed up. I forgot, that's Bozilla. Bozilla. It's different, they're on different sides. My bad. Erase what I just said. Anyway, Mega Skyscrapers, win or draw, they secure the number 1 seed. Okay. An ex-con. Now with an ex-con, Shuri Saki Kashima, all they got to do is win their match over the Mega Skyscrapers. If they can do that, not only will they advance to the playoffs, but they will secure the number 1 seed. That's right. All they got to do is win, and they'll get a double dose. They'll get a playoff spot, and it'll be the number 1 seed. So, big match for an ex-con. Okay. Let's look at Sakurara. So for Sakurara, this is where it gets a little complicated. So for Sakurara, they have to win their final match over O2 Line. So they need to win that match. And they need an ex-con to lose to the Mega Skyscrapers. And they need the New Star Sisters to lose to Bloody Girls School. If those 3 things happen, then Sakurara should be in line for a playoff spot. But like I said, they need to win their final match over O2 Line, and they need an ex-con to lose to the Mega Skyscrapers, and they need the New Star Sisters to lose to Bloody Girls School in order to have a shot at the playoffs. All right, Gorilla Trigger. Now, even though they have completed all of their matches, there is still a chance that they can secure a playoff spot, but they're going to need help. And it's got to be in the form of an ex-con losing to the Mega Skyscrapers and Sakurara losing to O2 Line. Yeah. If Sakurara can lose their match to O2 Line and an ex-con loses to Mega Skyscrapers, then Gorilla Trigger should have a playoff spot. So yeah. Those are pretty much the scenarios for the Blue Goddesses block. I mean, it's a lot more straightforward in that block than it is in the Red Goddesses block. But let's look at final matchups. So Gorilla Trigger, they've completed their matches. Sakurara, their final match is against O2 Line. O2 Line hasn't done too great, so Sakurara has a shot, but You never know. You never know. A next con, big match with the Mega Skyscrapers. That's really gonna determine who takes the number one seed right there. That's really for the number one seed. Um, Bloody Girls School versus New Star Sisters. I mean, there's not really much to happen from here, but like I said, Sakurara needs Bloody Girls School to beat the New Star Sisters. So, yeah. Those are your final Blue Goddesses block matches. And like I said, the playoffs start on November 29th. Now, to give my predictions, who I think will make the playoffs. Let's go back to the Red Goddesses block. So we know BMI 2000 secured the number one seed and a bye to the semifinals. So they're locked in. Now, so only two more teams can qualify. To be honest, something tells me, I got a feeling that Dos Locas de Mexico will be one of those playoff teams. I just have a feeling that they're going to be one of those playoff teams. Dos Locas de Mexico. And then the other team, to be honest, I think the other team will be T Hearts. I got a feeling it'll be T Hearts. Because the thing is, I don't see Sari Poi even, winning this whole thing. Because we have to remember, Sari Ano has a World of Stardom Championship match at Dream Queendom. So I don't see her winning this tournament. I was on the fence about Mi Vida Loca making the playoffs, but I just really have a feeling that Reckless Fantasy is gonna end up getting that first victory. I mean, they're the only team left that hasn't gotten a victory. And the thing is, when they competed last year, they actually had 2 victories, if I remember correctly. So I just have a feeling Reckless Fantasy is going to get that. They're going to get that one victory and disrupt things for Mi Vida Loca. So I am thinking Dos Locas de Mexico, the number 2 seed, and T Hearts, the number 3 seed. That's what I'm thinking. So those are my 2 to add on to BMI 2000 to make the playoffs. Okay, now let's go back to the Blue Goddesses block. So we know Mega Skyscrapers are a lock. That we just don't know if they will have the number 1 seed or not. Okay. Let's see. So only 2 more teams left. I am thinking as crazy as it sounds, I have a feeling I just have a feeling that an ex-con is going to end up getting the number 1 seed. I think there's going to be a little bit of a switcheroo, and I just have a strange feeling that an ex-con's is gonna win and get that number 1 seed. It sounds crazy, but just you never know what you're gonna get out of Saki Kashima. You never know. She already has one of the most devastating pins in Stardom with the Kishi Kaisei. So I mean, she slips that Kishi Kaisei on. It's hard to kick out of. I'm just saying. So I'm thinking NXCon number 1 seed, Mega Skyscrapers number 2 seed, Gorilla Trigger. Well, actually, nah. Actually, you know what? Actually, yeah. I'm going NXCon number 1 seed, Mega Skyscrapers number 2 seed, Sakurara number 3 seed. That's my prediction. Because I got a feeling, I just have a feeling Sakurara will pull off the win on O2 line. So yeah, I'm going to say NXCon number 1 seed, Mega Skyscrapers number 2 seed, Sakurara number 3 seed. Bam. Bam. That's my prediction. So, but we will find out come November 28th. It's going to be pretty close. And, just to kind of remind folks, because I know we're about to we're approaching the playoffs. Like I said, the playoffs start November 29th. Let me remind folks of how the playoff brackets look. Okay. So this is what the playoff bracket looks like. So we know for the Red Goddesses block, this number 1 seed right here belongs to BMI 2000. So all they got to do is pretty much win 2 matches. They win the whole thing. So they will await the winner between the 2nd and 3rd seeds in the Red Goddesses block. So there's that. And then for the Blue Goddesses, same thing. Like I said, we know Mega Skyscrapers have secured a playoff spot. We just don't know if they have the number 1 seed or not, because an ex-con could still get it. But they're going to do the first round and the semis. Yeah, so actually they're going to do the first round and the semis on the 29th. And then they're going to do the finals on the 30th. I'm actually happy about that. I'm really happy that they're doing it like that. That way, teams don't have to pull double duty on the 30th. So I really like that they're doing it that way. Go ahead and get that first round and that semifinal round out of the way. But the only thing is, whoever wins between the second and third seeds of both sides will have to pull double duty. So, hey, that's why it pays to do your best so you can get that number one seed to get an advantage because you get the bye. But yeah, so that's the breakdown. And by all means, if there are any questions or corrections, if you spot any corrections, please let me know. Please let me know. But yeah, that'll do it. Thank y'all so much for coming through. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Should be good. Anyway, don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, all of the above. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. And let me know what y'all's predictions are as well. What 6 teams, or well now, what 4 teams do you think will make the playoffs? Because we already know the Mega Skyscrapers and BMI 2000 are 2 teams that are locked in. So let me know what 4 teams you believe will make the playoffs. Anyway, for another live pro wrestling talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming, my name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Happy Thanksgiving to all. God bless you. And I will see y'all in the next video and our live stream. Laters.